God is talking. Subscribe.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to this deep dive.
Yeah,
It's going to be a deep one.
it is.
We're diving into some pretty radical ideas about wealth,
Yes.
poverty, and global systems.
Big topics.
Yeah, huge topics.
Love it.
And our source material today
Okay.
is structured as a dialogue.
Interesting.
So there's one voice asking all the questions,
Okay.
and then another one offering some really unexpected answers.
I like it already.
It's going to challenge some of that conventional thinking.
For sure.
For sure. So
Yeah.
let's jump right in.
Okay.
What I find really fascinating about this source
Yeah.
is the way it makes us reconsider
Uh-huh.
the very nature of disadvantage.
Okay.
So it presents this really interesting paradox.
All right.
It argues that on a spiritual level,
Okay.
no one is actually disadvantaged
What?
because we each choose our life circumstances for soul growth.
I see.
But then it acknowledges the very real hardship in the physical world.
Yeah, right.
You know, like that exists.
That tension.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So how do we balance individual responsibility
Yeah.
while at the same time recognizing
Yeah.
that,
Right.
systems can create real barriers for people?
Totally. Like, I think the source is really asking us
Yeah.
to hold both those perspectives
Yeah.
at the same time,
Yeah.
which is not an easy thing.
Not easy at all.
Wow.
And it gets even more
Yeah.
interesting when it suggests
Okay.
that the first question we should ask
Okay.
when we encounter somebody
Uh-huh.
facing hardship
Yeah.
shouldn't be like, what do they need?
Right.
But what do I want here?
Oh, that's interesting.
It's a really subtle but powerful
Yeah,
shift in focus.
totally.
So instead of jumping into fix-it mode,
Right.
it's like, check in with yourself first.
Yes.
What are your own motivations?
It's driving this desire to help.
Are you coming from a place of genuine compassion?
Yeah.
Or are you trying to fulfill some deed of your own?
Right. Are you trying to...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Uh,
It's like the source is guiding us toward this crucial distinction between
Yes.
empowering help
Yes,
and disempowering help.
exactly. And sometimes the best way to help someone
Yeah.
is to actually step back
Oh,
and allow them to learn and grow
yeah.
through their own struggles.
Through their own experience.
You know, it's that old saying,
Oh,
give a man a fish, you feed him for a day.
yeah.
Teach a man to fish,
You feed him for a lifetime.
you feed him for a lifetime.
Right.
But the source also acknowledges that there are times
Yes.
when direct intervention
Okay.
is necessary. Like
Yeah,
you have to
yeah.
intervene.
Right.
And it's specifically critiquing
Okay.
government assistance programs
Okay.
that create dependency
Uh-huh.
rather than empowering people to be self-sufficient.
Interesting.
It argues that those programs should have time limits
Time limits. Okay.
so that people transition to self-reliance,
to self-reliance.
which brings up
Yeah.
that whole debate about the role of government.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
When it comes to social inequalities,
Yeah.
where do we draw the line
Right.
between responsibility for yourself
Yeah.
and collective support from society?
That's a big question.
Big question.
It is.
And the source tackles this head on,
Does it?
even going so far as to reference
Okay.
a phrase from the Communist Manifesto,
Whoa. What?
from each according to his ability,
Mm-hmm.
to each according to his need.
Okay, so right off the bat,
Yeah.
just so we're clear,
Yeah.
this source is not advocating for communism.
Absolutely not.
Okay, good.
It's not endorsing any particular political ideology.
Okay.
It's really about exploring
Yeah.
that underlying concept of sharing wealth.
Okay.
The idea that those who have more
Yeah.
should contribute to the well-being
Uh-huh.
of those who have less.
Gotcha.
And what I find so interesting is that
Yeah.
it uses this phrase to point out the difference
Oh.
between an idea in its pure form
Yeah.
and the implementation of that idea.
I see.
So it's saying that
Okay.
the idea of sharing wealth
Yeah.
is not inherently bad,
Right.
but that the forced implementation, like in communism,
Okay.
can lead to unintended consequences.
Gotcha.
Good intentions aren't enough.
Right.
We also need to consider the practical implications of our actions
Totally.
and create systems that encourage both individual responsibility
Mm-hmm.
and social equity.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
And this brings us to
Yeah.
a truly radical proposition
All right. I'm ready.
that the source puts forward:
Lay it on me.
complete financial transparency.
Whoa.
Imagine a world with no physical currency,
No cash.
no cash.
Wow.
Every single transaction is recorded
Okay.
in a publicly accessible system
Right.
of credits and debits.
Huh.
It calls this the Worldwide Compensation System,
Worldwide Compensation System.
or WCS.
WCS.
Okay, this is mind-blowing.
It-
It'd be like having an open ledger
Wow.
for the entire global economy.
So you could see
You could see,
where every dollar,
or credit in this case,
yeah,
comes from and where it goes.
that's a lot of information.
That's a lot of information.
Yeah.
And the source argues
Yeah.
that this level of visibility would have huge effects.
Like what?
It would expose unfair practices,
Okay.
reduce corruption, and promote fairness
Wow.
on a global scale.
So it's like shining a light
Yeah.
on all the shady dealings.
Yeah, all the dark corners.
That happen in our financial systems.
If everyone could see what was going on,
Right.
it would be much harder
Yeah.
to get away with unethical or exploitative behavior.
It's a bold claim.
It is.
It raises some interesting questions,
Right,
like
yeah.
what might we be hiding?
Ooh, yeah.
And how would our behavior change
Yeah.
if every financial decision we made was
Yeah.
completely transparent?
This would be a massive shift
Yeah.
in accountability. It's
Uh,
huge.
Both personally and as a society.
Right.
It makes you wonder if humanity is even ready
That's the
to
question.
that level of openness.
That's what the source leaves us to ponder.
Yeah.
What would a world built on
Yeah.
medical transparency actually look like?
Uh-huh.
And what would it take
Yeah.
to get there?
What would it take?
Big question.
Big question.
As we're exploring this whole idea
Yeah.
of a worldwide compensation system
Right.
and complete financial transparency,
Mhm.
this source is really making us rethink
Yeah.
some pretty fundamental beliefs
Uh-huh.
about wealth and success.
For sure. Like
Yeah.
that idea that limitless earning potential
Yeah.
is like the big driver of
Oh, yeah.
human achievement.
The ultimate goal.
Yeah. This source pushes back against that.
Interesting.
It says that if we guarantee
Okay.
everyone's basic needs,
Yeah.
it would free us up to
Our
pursue
Yeah.
our passions,
Yeah.
our purpose.
Rather than just constantly striving.
Right. Always wanting more.
More, more, more.
Yeah.
And it's not just about
Yeah.
individual fulfillment either.
Okay.
This source suggests that this shift
Okay.
could have huge societal implications.
Like what?
Well, it says that when people's basic needs are met,
Uh-huh.
they're way more likely
Okay.
to contribute to the common good
Interesting.
instead of competing
Right.
for scarce resources.
It's like proposing a whole new model
Mm,
for what motivates people.
totally. A new paradigm.
Driven by
Instead of fear and scarcity,
Yeah.
we would be driven by a desire
Okay.
to create,
Create.
to connect,
Yeah.
and to make a positive impact.
This is a big vision.
It is.
It's bold.
It's bold. People might have trouble with this.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because we're so used to
Right.
competition.
Yeah.
And this idea that you gotta,
Mm,
look out for number one.
right. That's how you get ahead.
That's how we get ahead.
Yeah. But the source is asking us,
Yeah.
what if those very forces are holding us back?
What if?
What if they're actually perpetuating
Actually-
inequality
Uh-huh.
and preventing us
Yeah.
from reaching our full potential
I like that.
as a species?
It's thought-provoking.
It is.
And this leads to another
Yeah.
really key concept.
Okay.
The source keeps coming back to this idea of letting go
Okay.
of the concept of separation
Separation from what?
from everything,
Okay.
from each other, from the planet, from the universe.
Okay.
It argues that this sense of separateness,
Uh-huh.
this belief that we're fundamentally isolated,
Yeah.
is at the root
Yeah.
of most of our problems.
So, like, we're living in this illusion
Right.
of individuality.
When in reality, we're all interconnected.
Right. We're all
We're all
part of this web.
your life.
Yeah. And when we lose sight of that,
Right.
that interconnectedness,
Yeah.
we start to act
Yeah.
in ways that are,
In ways that hurt ourselves
harmful to ourselves
and hurt others.
and others.
And the source is saying that this sense of separation
Yeah.
isn't just like a philosophical problem, it's
Not at
a
all.
practical one.
Okay.
It shows up in our societies,
Yeah.
our economies, our relationships.
Okay. I see that.
It's everywhere.
Like it.
The way we compete for resources,
Yeah.
the way we build walls between nations, this deep fear of the other
Right.
that keeps us from
Yeah.
coming together.
From solving problems together.
Exactly.
And the source says that the only way to overcome these challenges
Yeah.
is to fundamentally shift
Okay.
our consciousness,
Big shift.
to move away from separation
Okay.
towards oneness and love.
So from separation to oneness,
To oneness.
to oneness.
Big ask.
It is a tall order,
Right.
requires us to really look at some deeply held beliefs and patterns of behavior.
Yeah, our habit.
But the source is saying that this transformation isn't just possible,
Okay.
it's necessary for survival.
Wow.
And this brings us back
Yeah.
to this idea of complete
Hello?
financial transparency.
No,
It's not just about
Yeah.
creating a fair economic system.
Right.
It's about creating a system that reflects this interconnectedness.
I see.
So instead of hidden transactions
Yeah.
and these secret deals,
That only benefit a few.
yeah,
We would have a system where
everything's out in the open.
everything's out in the open.
Everyone can see how
Yeah.
resources are being used.
That would create
Yeah.
so much accountability
Yeah.
and shared responsibility.
Because if we can see how our actions impact others,
Right.
we're more likely to make good choices.
It's like holding up a mirror
Yeah.
to humanity
Yeah.
and saying,
Look, this is who we are.
this is who we are.
This is how we're treating each other.
Are we ready to do better?
Powerful stuff.
It is.
You know, and speaking of
Yeah.
challenging the status quo,
Uh-huh.
this source does not hold back
Okay.
when it comes to organized religion.
All right, let's hear it.
It takes aim
Yes.
at the way religion can sometimes foster dependency
Okay.
and discourage independent thinking.
Interesting.
It argues that blind faith
Okay.
can be a barrier
A growth.
to spiritual growth,
Yeah.
and that these dogmas
Yeah.
and doctrines can actually prevent us
Right.
from directly experiencing the divine.
That's a bold statement.
It is a bold critique.
For sure.
But I think it's important to remember
Yeah.
that this source isn't condemning all religion.
Right.
It's more about encouraging us to question our beliefs, to move beyond
Yeah.
blind faith,
Uh-huh.
to develop a personal connection
Yes.
with the sacred.
It's about reclaiming
Yeah.
our own spiritual authority
Exactly.
instead of relying on
Yeah.
external institutions
Right.
or intermediaries.
To tell us what to believe.
Yeah, to tell us what to think.
And this leads us to a
Excellent.
concept that is both fascinating
Okay.
and controversial.
I'm intrigued.
The idea that humans have received assistance
Okay.
from advanced extraterrestrial beings.
Whoa. Okay, hold on.
Now, before you
Yeah.
write this off
Okay.
as science fiction, let's hear what the source has to say.
Okay, I'm listening.
This source is proposing
Yeah.
that these extraterrestrial beings
Uh,
are not just technologically advanced,
okay.
but also
Naturally.
spiritually evolved.
Okay.
It's suggesting
Mm-hmm.
that they're helping us
Helping now.
with our development,
Okay.
but they're doing it in a way
Mm-hmm.
that respects our free will.
So they're not like
It's not
an alien invasion.
No,
I don't-
okay. They're not here to impose their beliefs
Okay.
or control us.
So it's more like
It's more like
gentle guidance.
subtle guidance,
Okay.
a nudge in the right direction.
I nudge, okay.
And the source explains
Yeah.
that they're remaining hidden
Okay.
to avoid creating
Yeah.
undue influence
Oh,
or
yeah.
dependency.
So like figure things out for ourselves.
yeah, we have to make our own choices.
Learn from our mistakes.
Exactly.
That makes sense because if we suddenly had contact with being so advanced,
Yes.
it would be pretty overwhelming.
It would throw us off balance.
Totally.
For sure.
And the source says
Yeah.
they're not just helping us technologically, they're helping us spiritually. They're showing us
Yeah.
what's possible
What we can become
if we choose to
if we choose to
embrace our true potential.
This is mind-blowing.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
So, as we're wrapping up
Yeah.
this deep dive,
Mhm.
let's bring it back to you,
The listener.
the listener.
What stands out to you
Yeah.
from this exploration?
What resonates?
What
Yeah.
parts,
Fit with your own experience,
your own beliefs?
your own sense of what's possible.
This source has presented
It has
some really radical ideas,
radical.
things that really challenge
Yeah.
how we think about wealth,
Uh-huh.
poverty,
Mm-hmm.
the very structure of society.
It's asking us to imagine a world
A world where
where basic needs are met.
everyone's needs are met.
Transparency is everywhere.
Wow.
And we're not just chasing personal gain.
Yeah,
We're working together.
for the well-being of all.
This might seem
Yeah.
utopian,
Unrealistic.
even impossible.
Yeah.
But maybe
right.
that's the point.
Okay.
Maybe the source is inviting us
Okay.
to stretch our imaginations, to
Yeah.
expand our sense of what's
Yeah.
possible,
To dare to believe
to dare to believe.
that a better world
Yeah,
is within reach.
that may be.
Just maybe we're already taking those first steps.
Towards that world.
Maybe those seeds of transformation are already being planted.
In our hearts and minds.
Yeah.
So we'll leave you
We will.
with this final question.
What's that?
What role will you play
Ooh.
in this unfolding story?
That's a good one.
Will you be a passive observer?
Okay.
Or will you step into your power
Yes.
as a co-creator
Of a better world.
of a more
A more sustainable,
more compassionate world?
the choice is yours.
So it's like we're being called
Yeah.
to step into this new era
It is new way of being.
defined by collaboration,
Mm-hmm.
transparency,
Yeah.
and a deep understanding or interconnectedness.
Big stuff.
But where do we even begin
Right.
to create that kind of change?
Well, the good news is
Right.
we don't have to start from scratch.
Okay.
The source points to examples throughout history
Okay.
of people and communities
Yeah.
that have actually lived these principles,
Okay.
creating pockets of peace and harmony.
You're talking about those societies
Yeah,
that figured out how to live in balance with nature,
exactly.
share resources,
Yeah,
resolve conflicts peacefully.
those are the ones.
But those examples
Yeah,
often feel so far removed from
Right.
our modern world.
they do.
How do we translate that
Yeah,
ancient wisdom
right.
into solutions for today's problems?
That is the question.
It is.
And the source suggests
Okay.
that the key is to bridge the gap
Okay.
between the wisdom of the past
Yeah.
and the innovations of the present.
I like that.
It's about integrating
Mm.
ancient spiritual teachings
Yeah.
with modern technology,
Okay.
social systems, economic models.
So it's not about just copying the past.
Oh, and about going backwards
It's about adapting those
Right.
timeless principles
to fit our current need.
to the circumstances of our time.
Exactly.
And that takes a
It does.
willingness to experiment,
To be open to new ideas
to challenge the assumptions
that we're operating under.
of our systems.
Yeah, the source is calling for a
Yeah.
new kind of leader,
Okay.
innovators, change makers.
People who can hold the vision
Yeah,
and also have the practical skills
to make it a reality.
and get it done.
People who aren't afraid
Yeah.
to challenge the status quo
Towards boundaries,
and to create solutions
Yeah.
that work for everyone,
not just a select few.
not just the privileged.
And, the
Yeah.
source even hints that
Well,
we might be getting help
help from where?
from unexpected sources. There might be beings,
Mhm.
both human
Uh-huh.
and maybe even extraterrestrial,
Whoa!
working behind the scenes.
To support this transformation.
It's a fascinating idea.
Yeah, to think that there's this hidden network
A cosmic safety net
guiding us.
toward a brighter future
It's like those stories.
of spiritual masters
Yeah.
or enlightened beings
Who've reached this level of awareness.
that most of us can't even imagine.
Right.
They've transcended the
They have
limitations
ego and
Yeah.
fear
Okay.
and separation.
and they embody
Yeah.
love,
Wisdom.
compassion.
And the sources suggesting
Yeah.
these beings aren't just figures from the past. They're here with us now,
Whoa.
working in subtle ways
To awaken humanity.
to help us realize our true potential.
That's a comforting thought
It is.
in a world that can feel
Yeah,
chaotic and uncertain.
it can feel that way.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
let's bring it back to you,
To the listener,
the listener.
what are you taking away from this conversation?
This source has presented
Some big ideas
radical ideas
about how we could
Yeah.
restructure society
Imagine a world
where everyone's needs are met
where everything is transparent.
and we're working together.
It might seem impossible.
It might
Maybe that's the invitation.
to stretch our imagination
To expand our sense of the
to
time
believe
that a better world.
is within reach.
And maybe we're already
Yeah.
on our way.
Taking those first steps
So what role will you play?
in this unfolding story.
Will you just watch it happen
Or will you step into your power?
to co-create a better future?
A more
That's-
just,
More compassionate world.
the choice is yours.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been quite a journey.
It has.
Eyes anoint you starlight, ฉันไม่ได้จุดthe lights on